Merry Christmas. Welcome to a zero-hour minisode where I take a look at the screen adaptation of Delia Owens' book, Where the Crawdads Sing, released in July 2022. It's a bit of a different movie that's probably not really in the spotlight now, since it's been about a year and a half since it came out. But it's one that I've watched recently and wanted to have a bit of a chat about. So it's putting together a quick little mini-sode for Christmas time, just to have my thoughts about it, I guess. So the movie was directed by Olivia Newman, who did First Match and a couple of episodes of Chicago Fire. The screenplay by Lucy Alabar, who did Beasts of the Southern Wild. I haven't seen that one. I might check it out. It's produced by Reese Witherspoon, who previously produced Legally Blondes, which was one of the sequels. I think there's two or three of Legally Blonde. And Lucy in the Sky, her body of work as an actress is well known by everyone. If you don't, you're living under a rock. And Lauren Newstetter also produced it. She did Your Place on Mine. The cinematography was by Polly Morgan, who did A Quiet Place Part 2. So what strikes me about this, just looking now at the list of who sort of worked on the movie and made it happen, was that it's almost an all-female crew from the people at the top anyway. Obviously, camera people and whatever may have been males, but it's really good. And they've put together something that isn't just, like identifiably designed specifically for females. I think they've put together their viewpoint and their interpretation and got it across to suit all audiences, in my opinion. I will get onto that in a sec. Anyway, so the movie starred Daisy Edgar Jones, who was in Cold Feet and War of the Worlds. Pretty sure that was the Tom Cruise version. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Not a bad movie, not a great movie. Daisy just did a great job. I don't think anybody else could have played the role of Kaya. I think she really, really nailed it and just did a really good job. Taylor John Smith, who was in The Outpost, a really good war movie. If you haven't seen it, get your hands on it to watch it. It's really great. Now, he was also in Shadow and the Cloud. I watched that recently. It's not a bad little movie. And Harris Dickinson's probably the other sort of main character. He was in Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and The King's Man, which is not a bad movie. I'm going to watch that again pretty soon. So it was distributed by Sony Pictures, made for a budget of $24 million, which is pretty low in this day and age, I would say. And from the box office, it pulled in $144.3 million. However, I do believe they clean up a bit on the streaming side of things as well, which is basically how it is these days, let's face it. So yeah, to the movie, look, this one took me out of my comfort zone and into a different style of movie that I wouldn't normally watch. I'm more of a war movie guy, love historical dramas and a good comedy, but I guess it's the historical side of things that sort of drew me into this one. It's sort of a period piece for 1950s East Coast of America. And yeah, look, while it borders on rom-com, it has a bit of murder mystery, the historical aspect, and it has a really huge slice of drama added to the mix, and I guess almost a bit of sort of that thriller element to it as well. So yeah, look, I found it to be very, very good from start to finish, even if the ending got a bit mushy. Although, look, you do come to expect happy endings with the rom-com genre. Let's face it, nothing wrong with that. That's why we watch them. Well, the people who watch them, generally not me. From what I can gather, it does stay very true to the book, apparently, which is something that doesn't happen a lot in screen adaptations of really successful books. Now, having said that, though, the so-called woke brigade are pretty angry about this, as it really accurately portrays the class system and racial stereotypes of the period. And look, from my opinion, it does have some big moments to get you out of your seat as well. We sort of have you really wanting that next thing that's going to happen and not really knowing what is going to happen, unless you probably, those who have read the book will, but I haven't. So personally, I found the depictions of early 1950s North Carolina to be exceptionally good. And look, I'm an Australian who lives in Australia, so I don't know everything, but I know enough. And yeah, look, I feel like the way that they sort of put everything there, I guess, without sanitizing it, it pulled no punches whatsoever. And it really, yeah, I felt that it was pretty accurate in what I do know. Um, as I said, I haven't read the book. However, I'd imagine that it would be even more graphic than what the movie was. So maybe I will have a crack at it at some point. Maybe get it as an audiobook, whichever. But I doubt too many modern thinkers would be able to get a grasp on how society was back then when viewing through 2020's eyes. But for the amount of realism required to make this work, whether you agree with the stereotypes, the racism, the classism or not, it had to be done to make this such an accurate movie. And look, I know the world we live in is a different place, yet in many ways it's still very similar. And I really feel as though the movie is scripted in a way that both describes and at the same time challenges our own perceptions of society's prejudices, new and old. So just sort of to finish up, I guess, as it is a mini-sode, I'm not going to give too much more away about the movie or add any spoilers, other than to say it has quite possibly the longest sex scene in movie history since the one in Forrest Gump. I'm just going to leave it at that. Watch it and you'll see what I mean. So yeah, look, the movie does have its own specific audience while also having enough to initially attract and then keep lovers of other genres watching until the end. Don't let the all-female crew or the rom-com aspect scare you away. There's a lot more to this movie than just that. And yeah, just be prepared as well. Obviously, as I said, for the inevitable true love never dies ending. Look, that's how it was in the book. I guess that's how most people watching these sort of movies want to see the the happy ending. It's good. It worked. I liked it. So yeah, that's fine. So look, I give the movie an 8 out of 10 and do recommend it to anyone who wants to watch something a bit different from the usual trashy fare Hollywood is putting out in recent times. Did I say Hollywood? I meant to say Hollywood. Who cares? Most of what they make these days is just garbage anyway. And this movie challenges that. So, yep, get out and find it on your streaming service or the DVD if that's your thing. However you like to watch movies, find your copy of this one and watch it. It's really good. I recommend. So, yep, Merry Christmas. I hope you all had a good time and enjoyed the New Year holiday period if you're having one in whichever part of the world you live in. And I'll be back with some I'm going to have another mini-sode where I just take a quick look at 3 or 4 movies I've watched in the last week or so. And then I'll come back. I've got a couple of full episodes coming up as well with a couple of one classic war movie and one other classic that I'll keep to myself. All right. Merry Christmas. Thank you for watching and listening. And I'll see you when I see you.